Hello YouTube, this is that Guy. It is almost time for the weekly shops in the Lost Ark to reset. So I wanted to put out a video to talk about all the shops, what you should and should not buy in each of them, as well as cover the basics like where to get the currency and how to find the shops themselves. So hopefully this video will be helpful, and let's just get started. The first one I want to cover is the Rift Piece Exchange shop. So people who have seen my Chaos Gate videos will know how to get here, but just a refresher for people who don't know. In order to get Rift Shard pieces, you simply participate in Chaos Gate. So Chaos Gate, if it is available on your server on that day, you can click here and then you'll be able to find it. And then in the top left, it will appear. If you find the Chaos Gate that's appropriate for your level, simply click on the compass and it will tell you exactly where you need to go. And with the rift shards you have, you can purchase maps. So these maps are going to make you a lot of gold, especially if you find 3 other people in your guild, in your friend group, to just kind of rotate through and run them with. To find where you should spend those rift shards, you can go to any major city and simply type in rift in the search bar, and then it will highlight the NPCs you need because the location is different city to city. So here in Vern, you can get a chest that guaranteed gets you a blue rarity map for just 100 shards, and then you can get either a blue or a purple for 150, and then a chance to get the legendary for 250. So this is really affordable, and as you can see, this is the one I always buy out. So every week, if you have enough shards, you should buy out this entire shop. The specific reason why I recommend Vern Castle is that for people who don't know how these maps works, if you buy the lowest tier map from Vern Castle, and you run it, you're gonna get tier 1 shards. So if we take a look at the prices of the shard pouches, just tier 1, the Harmony shard, actually goes for the highest amount. The next shop I want to talk about is the Symbol Bloodstone Exchange. So the Bloodstones are going to be really useful, and it is what's known as the guild currency. So you earn Bloodstone by going into your guild interface, and then you can make contributions. So every day you check the interface, you're gonna get some bloodstones, and you can click the guild donations, and you can go ahead and contribute. And for each one, you're gonna get donations rewards. So for example, for just donating 6,000 silvers, which you should always do every day, you can get 50 bloodstone. And if you donate gold, if you donate honor, you're gonna get even more. So that's gonna be really nice. And along with that, there's a payout every week, I believe, from the guild, if your guild is set up that way, where you can get some. And there's a weekly task where you can actually contribute and help out and actually get more stones that way as well. For example, for this week, the guild task is get plant leaves. So we can gather enough plant leaves and just get 500 plus stone. To find this NPC, you simply go to the map, and you can just type bloodstone, and then you can find this in every city. So all the cities, you simply type this in, it will highlight the location. You go to the NPC and you're gonna see a lot of things you can buy. Once you're inside, avoid everything on the first page. You don't want any of this. This is not worth it. Just ignore the first page. XP and silver is a trap. You do not want to buy anything from there. So the second page, the homing material, is where you kind of get to the good stuff. So what's really good is the shard pouches, because they're relatively expensive right now, is worth the bloodstones. So you can see here, as your guild researches more and more, you can get to higher level stuff, and also you can buy more for cheaper. So I encourage everyone to join an active guild and contribute often, because if the research level goes up, you're going to get better and better deals from these chests. So you can go in, spend the bloodstone, you can get the shards if you wish, and you can get the bloodstone, destruction stones, but it's not worth it right now because it's so expensive, and you only get 20 per purchase. So bloodstones are not going to be costing that much, so I don't recommend spending there. keep in mind this currency is kind of precious, so you don't want to just waste it on things that you could get easily in other ways. For me, at least, I would avoid all the tier 1 mats, with the exception of a Harmony Shard pouches. If you really need this right now, buy this pouch, but everything else you can get through other ways, much cheaper. Now for the thing that I think you should buy every week, and that is going to be the entrance ticket. So if you go to the last page here, there's a different chests you can buy that have a chance to get you either silver, the cube ticket, or the boss rush ticket. The ones that I recommend you buy is actually the one for your entrance ticket chest, because you spent 700 bloodstone. It's a lot, but I think this is worth it. Is that you get a chance to get a tier 2 cube ticket or a tier 2 boss rush ticket. If you are currently in tier 2, this is going to be super worth it. But if you're not, don't worry about it. If you're in tier 1, I don't necessarily think you should spend the money to get a chance at the cube ticket. But once you're at Yorn, this is going to be super worth it. For those who don't know, cube tickets and boss rush tickets are super rewarding. So they're worth getting. Most of the time, you're going to get silver, which is not the end of the world. But it is nice to have a chance to get these tickets if possible. Aside from that, Moon's Breaths, they're not really worth buying because the prices are super high. The next thing that becomes worth it, in my opinion, is when you get to tier 3. Once you are at tier 3 and you can start buying the Sun Supplementary Material chest, that's going to be super worth it, and that is going to save you a lot of money in the long run. So to sum it up, the most important things you should watch out for in this shop is actually the chests. You won't always get lucky, but I think for the amount of bloodstone you're investing into it, it is worth gambling from the chest. And if you can get one of these tickets, it's going to really speed up your progression. So the next shop is going to be the Pirate Merchant Shop. To get to the merchant shop, you simply go to map, and if you want to just jump to ready to sail, it's going to teleport you directly to the sailing interface. You're almost always going to find them outside the port. If you look on the mini map, the blue glowing ship, that actually tells you where they are. And sometimes there's none outside. That's because they're traveling from port to port. So that's the only time you don't see them outside. If you just wait around a little bit, they will show up. So for this weekly shop, there's something I want to make very clear. It is that pirate coins are something that if you last minute trying to get a lot of, it's going to be hard. So there are a lot of quest chains in the islands where you can go, and I believe if you run all the quest chains on all the islands, you're gonna end up with like 150k pirate coins. That sounds like a lot, and it is, but it's something that you eventually gonna run out of, because there are things, there are songs that are expensive, there are collectibles that are really expensive in this game. You're gonna spend like 60,000 on one of them, and it just doesn't last forever, is what I'm trying to say, the fixed amount. And to get more pirate coins, you're gonna have to do different events that they are on the islands and on sailing co-op, for example. You're gonna have to do all these events, and the amount you get is decent, but it's not gonna be enough to buy out shops. So be a little bit conservative with it if you're trying to min-max. If you're trying to push the in-game content, you're gonna have to be a little careful, because another way to get pirate coins is to exchange, let's say, these special pirate currencies. So if you have explored the island quest, you're gonna get a ton of these chests where you can get a lot of island currencies. You're gonna think that these will last forever, but there are certain things in late game. For example, I just spent 8,000 sun coins on one of the collectibles in game because I need to min-max. For me, it's kind of a special case because I want to go for the completion. It is difficult, but it's doable. I want to go to the completion so that I can provide better content, so nothing is going to be locked for me, so I can make better guides and everything, and hopefully help inform everyone. But if you're taking it easy in this game, if you just want to play to the end game, if you just want to play with your friends, you want to do the end game raid, but you don't care about absolutely min-maxing everything, you can feel free to go a little crazy with pirate coins. Because as I just mentioned, I spent 8,000 coins, 8,000 sun coins on something. Instead of spending the 8,000 sun coins, I could have exchanged that for 160,000 pirate coins, which have let you buy out the shop for weeks and weeks. So once again, this is something you kind of have to decide for yourself. If you want to be absolutely min-max, you're gonna have to be very conservative with the shop. And if you're not, then you can go a little crazy and just buy what you need, even for your alt. So having said that, if you're going to buy stuff from the shop, what I would do is that I will avoid Destruction Stone Fragment and Guardian Stone Fragments. But Guardian Stone is a lot cheaper, so based on the market price, you could consider buying them if you need it in your tier 1 progression. Right now, the Harmony Shard pouches medium is worth buying because they're still quite expensive on the market. So buying them with Pirate Coin can save you a lot of money in the long run. So as well as the tier 2 materials, you should buy them only if you need them. For me, I failed way too much on tier 2, so I had to buy out the shop. But it hurts, but I had to do it. And as for the tier 3, right now the prices are crazy in tier 3. So this is super worth it, but as once again, this will change week to week. But one thing you're going to notice, I'm going to buy a stone fragment, is that these are actually tradable. So what you can do is that you can go on your alt, buy them and put them on your main. So this is going to help your progression on the main. But keep in mind the Harmony pouches and the Shard pouches, they are not tradable. So don't try to transfer these off of your alts. That's going to be very awkward when you try to do it. The last NPC I want to talk about is going to be the Chaos Dungeon Shard Exchange. So this NPC is always, no matter what city you go to, located very close to the Chaos Dungeon. And you can also just search for the Shard Exchange, and then this will highlight it on your map, as with every other NPC we mentioned so far. So you want to talk to her, and then you can exchange the Perception Shards, you can exchange Disorder Crystals, Guardian Shards, and Shard of Purification. So this is going to be really nice. There's weekly limit, and this is per character once again, but everything you buy here will be untradeable, so only for the character you're on. And in order to use get these shards, is you have to go to the Chaos Dungeon, and as you can see that I'm already completely out of Aura of Resonance. What that does is that if you have Aura, you're gonna get drops when you run these Chaos Dungeons, but when you're out of it, you can still run the Chaos Dungeon, you're just gonna get the appropriate currencies. For example, for tier 2 ones, you're gonna get Guardian Shard, and for the tier 1, you're gonna get Perception Shard. So you can just run these after you're done and use that currency to potentially buy yourself more upgrade materials. So that's going to be very helpful. But one thing I want to make sure is that a lot of people have mentioned you can get Guardian Engraving Recipe Pouch. You can actually, if you want, spend some time and just farm a lot of tier 2 Guardian Shard, and you can buy the pouches. When you have this pouch, you can choose to get a blue book for either class, or you can get it for just general engravings. So this is another way to get 20. One thing I want to point out is that some people are misunderstood. It says roster limit 20. That means once you buy 20, you're done. This will never ever reset. It's not a weekly reset thing. So another thing is that the books you get from this is going to be tradable. So it says the bag is untradeable, and when you open it to choose a chest, chest is going to say untradeable, but once you open the chest, the book inside is tradable. So this is a way to get a little bit of extra income for certain people who are at this stage of the game. So for this shop, you simply just spend the currency. You don't have to worry as much because you can farm as much as you want. It just takes time. So it depends on if you have the free time, you can farm out these shards and buy out the materials you need for that week. And one thing that I almost never see anyone mention is that these currency you use for this shard, the materials are not tradable. You can't trade them to your alt. You can't trade them from alt to your main. But the actual currency, it says untradeable, but it says bound to roster on pickup. So one thing you can notice is that I actually have them in here. So what you can do is that you can just take your high level main. For example, if your main is tier 2 and you want to level up an alt, you simply have your main run the highest tier of the currency you need. For example, my main is tier 3, but my alt is only tier 1. I can have my main run the highest difficulty tier 1 dungeon and just get a lot of these shards really fast because my main is way stronger and way overtuned for it. And I can just take this currency, simply put it in the roster storage, and I can just get it on my alt. So on my alt, I can just spend them. So this is the way to save some time if you're trying to level your alts. And that pretty much covers it. I spend a lot of times in my video. I put a lot of thoughts into it and do my research and things like that. So if you like the video, please consider liking, subscribing, sharing, or just leaving a comment down below with whatever you want. It can be something random. You can tell me what you ate today. Something like that. But yeah, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.